my first video of Tuesday. So Wizards of the Coast released a new survey, and you know that I love surveys, and I like filling them out with all of you to give my feedback and also to encourage you to fill them out. It's something that I do. One of the few things that I'll say that I kind of preach here at Nerd Immersion is fill out the surveys. We've been told by Wizards of the Coast, and we've seen evidence of this in multiple instances, where they do take the feedback from the surveys very seriously. And honestly, for the majority of us, this is going to be the only way we're ever going to get our thoughts and our input and feedback to them is via these surveys. So I recommend that you go fill out the survey, fill it out truthfully, and if you have an issue with something or want something known, display it, explain it in as best a way as possible. Don't just say something like, this is stupid, this sucks. Tell the story as to why, and maybe, just maybe, that will help something change in the future of D&D 5e. So I'll have a link in the description if you want to go and take the survey for yourself. I think this is a DM-focused one, but first off, it starts with where do you reside? So I'm in the US. Are you comfortable taking the survey in the English language? Yes. What's my age? I am 34. Wow, that kind of skipped ahead, but 34, all right. I would go with boy as my gender pronouns. I'm going to ask you a few questions about D&D. Well, thank you. So far, you've just gained my information. That makes sense. Have I ever played D&D, the tabletop RPG? Yes, I currently play. Which of the following editions have you ever played? 3.5 and 5. That's it for me. Okay. Which of the following editions of the tabletop RPG have I played in the past 12 months? Only 5. Have I been a dungeon master? Yes, I have. What percentage of your overall D&D playing in the past 12 months has been spent DMing? So this would have been June of last year. Would have been the same time frame. I'm going to say about 85% of my time has been spent DMing. Okay, I want to ask me some questions about 5e. Which of the following is not a class? This is interesting. Which of the following is not a class in D&D 5e? Wanderer, Ranger, Fighter, Wizard, or I don't know. Obviously, we know the Wanderer is not a class in 5e. Which die is used to roll initiative? This is very intriguing, because this is now testing people's knowledge of the rules, or I guess maybe the usage of homebrew. Obviously, D20 is used to roll initiative. In 5th edition, if you have advantage on a roll, what do you do? Roll 1d20 and add a +2. If you roll a 1 on the attack ability or saving throw, re-roll the die. Roll 2d6s and take the higher number. Roll 2d20s and use the higher of the 2 rolls. Which of the following is not a step in creating a character? Calculate Thaco. Really? Interesting choice of what they're throwing in here. I wonder if these are the same questions if you said, like, you only played 2e or 3e in, like, that beginning sentence, or I wonder if you didn't play 5e, if it just closes you out. You know what I mean? Like, if you say, in the past 12 months, all I've played is 1st edition and 2nd edition, and you hit continue, does it say, thank you very much for the survey and closes it? Or does it ask you these same questions about those editions? That would be interesting. How satisfied am I with the playing races as described in the player's handbook? Okay. Well, we know that I'm very dissatisfied with the Dragonborn. Obviously, everybody knows that. And I'd say I'm satisfied with the dwarf. I like humans, so I like variant human. They don't give me a distinction here, so I'm going to say very satisfied. I also like elves, satisfied with half-orc. I don't particularly like halflings or playing as halflings. This is a personal preference of mine. But I wouldn't say I'm dissatisfied with the race. Same thing with gnomes. I do like tieflings, and I like half-elves, so those are going to get very satisfied by me. Okay, how about the following sub-races? Oh boy, okay. So rock gnome. I actually have to remember what the difference is between a rock gnome and a forest gnome. I think a rock gnome is the one that gets the trinket. They make the trinket. I'm going to say slightly satisfied. Hill dwarf, very satisfied. That's the +1 extra HP. Wood elf, I'm very satisfied with. Half elf, or stout halfling, satisfied. High elf, satisfied. Lightfoot halfling, satisfied. Forest gnome, satisfied. Drow, slightly dissatisfied. And mountain dwarf, slightly satisfied. Which are the abilities are you satisfied in the following of the dwarf traits? This is getting very interesting. This is really a deep dive. I wonder if this is to future reevaluate races and adjust them or provide variant rules, because we know they've added the extra types of drow. I wonder if this ties into that at all. Stone cunning. I'm only slightly satisfied with stone cunning because it's so... It potentially never comes up, and it's kind of loosey-goosey on the rules. Very satisfied with Hill Dwarven Toughness, satisfied with the armor training, obviously very satisfied with Dark Vision and Dwarven Resilience. Very satisfied and slightly satisfied with combat training. Elf traits, okay. I'm satisfied with High Elf training. I'm only slightly satisfied with the extra language and the cantrip. The Drow magic is, I do like Drow magic, satisfied. Very satisfied with superior dark vision. Very dissatisfied with sunlight sensitivity. Only slightly satisfied with drow weapon training. Very satisfied with trance and wood elf training. I'm going to actually switch. That's going to be the same because it's the same. Satisfied with fleet of foot. Slightly satisfied with mask of the wild. Satisfied with fey ancestry. Very satisfied with dark vision. And perception is the best skill in the game. So I'm very satisfied. Halfling traits. God, now I need to... Okay, halfling... See, I hate halfling luck for that feature, personally. I don't love it. I don't know why. Like, it's a super good and super useful feature, and I fully understand why people play it. I just don't particularly like it, so I'm going to say I'm just satisfied with that. Halfling nimbleness, I'm going to say slightly satisfied, slightly dissatisfied. I don't really feel like the two halfling abilities, and brave, I think, is the... Oh, God. I'm just going to say I'm slightly satisfied with stout, because I think that's the one that gives you poison resistance. And I think brave is advantage on saving throws versus frightened. Human. Ability score increase. Slightly satisfied. Slightly dissatisfied. Draconic ancestry. Very dissatisfied. Breath weapon. Very dissatisfied. Dissatisfied with damage resistance. Gnome. Very satisfied with dark vision. Very satisfied with gnome cunning. Dissatisfied with tinker, these two. And then satisfied with the two for the forest gnome. Those are good. Half elf fey ancestry satisfied. Dark vision very satisfied. And also very satisfied with skill versatility for the half elf. Half orc. Dark vision very satisfying. Menacing. Slightly satisfied. Savage attack, slightly satisfied, satisfied, relentless endurance. Tiefling, hellish resistance, fire resistance. You can say what you want about fire resistance. It's super useful. Dark vision, very satisfied, and I'm satisfied, slightly satisfied with Infernal Legacy. I don't love the player's handbook spells that you get. Okay, which of the following were you aware existed before taking this survey? Twitter account, the Instagram account, the Facebook account, the official website, the Discord, and D&D Beyond. Where do I get my D&D news? If you guys want to put other and put Nerd Immersion in the news section, I'm fine with that. Where do I get my news? Well, I get my news mostly from social media. Sometimes I get it from Reddit. Can I put Amazon? No, it's not that funny, but it's true. That's where I get my news from. At least as far as leaks go, I get it all from Amazon. But yeah, most of my news comes from some sort of official D&D social media account. It sometimes comes from Reddit, usually from the forums of D&D leaks. I don't really get any news on D&D Beyond or fan sites or the official D&D website is hit or miss because they never update it. So I'd say I get it from social media, and I'm going to say Amazon is another one for me. I technically also get it from a lot of my followers who will, if I haven't covered a news piece already, I usually am flooded with news and emails, emails, DMs, PMs, whatever, whether it be Discord, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. Someone's always sending me a message saying, hey, did you see this news drop? But I think I'll just leave it at Amazon. Have I used the official D&D Discord? I have it, but no, I don't actually use it because I didn't find it super useful to me. Did group play, chat with other players, get rules advice, share art map creations, chat about Adventures League. I used it to get the plugin, the news plugin for my Discord server, which is about the extent of what I've done with it. How would I rate the following aspects? I'm just gonna go down and don't know, not sure across the board because I don't actually use it at all. How could the official D&D Discord be improved? I don't know. I don't have any thought because I don't use it. Oh, I must put something in here. I don't really use it, so I can't comment anything of substance. Do I use Discord for any other games? Yes. You mentioned you use Discord for other games. Which just games? Dungeons and Dragons, which is legitimate. I do use it for Dungeons and Dragons. I just don't use the official D&D Discord for Dungeons and Dragons. I use personal messages on Discord, group chats on Discord, and my own personal Nerd Immersion Discord server. Have I ever used it for anything else? Oh, I've used it for Overwatch back in the day. Have I used it for anything else? I used it for playing Pokemon for a little bit. And if I used it for Guild Wars 2. So those are the... I mean, I haven't used it to play Pokemon, Overwatch, or Guild Wars 2 in probably years, but I did at one point. Oh, which games do you commonly use Discord for? Dungeons and Dragons. Okay. Which of the following best describes your employment? Employed full-time. Select the highest degree of school you have. I have a bachelor's degree in geology. And what's my marital status? I am married to my lovely wife for coming up on 9 years at this point. And that is it. Completed. Thank you. Well, there you go, folks. That is the survey. I don't even know what it's officially called, this DM Dungeons and Dragons survey. It's very interesting. I'm curious what the ramifications and the implications of this survey are, because it's all about the player. It's about, like, it wasn't actually about DMing so much. It was about what editions you play, what percentage of you have you DM'd, and I feel like that's pretty standard stuff. It seems like most of these surveys they've released recently ask those same initial questions. You know, where are you from? How do you identify? What editions have you ever played? What editions have you played within the past 12 months? And what percentage of that time have you spent DMing? That's pretty standard. And then from there, this question was basically just about the races in the player's handbook and how you felt about them, which was interesting. And then, you know, the D&D Discord of all things, which, again, some of you might not even know they have an official channel. I basically signed up for it and then didn't even realize that there were, like, when I first signed up for it, it looked like it was purely a news, like an announcement server. I didn't even realize that there were other servers that I could access because it didn't pop up right away. But yeah, I have it, and I basically downloaded the plugin that sends news to my server, and I haven't used it since. I haven't even looked at it, so I don't know. Do you guys use the official D&D Discord server? Is it worth it? Should I look into using it? Is it a good use of my time? And if so, why do you like it so much? So again, I know I advocated a lot at the start about filling out the surveys. So this one was interesting because it was about the player's handbook races. So all I can think of is this has one or two possible thought processes. One, This is for, we know they're in the process of rewriting some Drow lore or adjusting the Drow lore. So there's the potential that this could find its way into a new book. They might be, I highly doubt they're in the process of like revamping the Player's Handbook races. They do have the potential to change things via errata. That I wouldn't count on that. So what I ultimately think is this might be probing for the next edition, right? What did you and didn't you like about the stuff in the Player's Handbook? Let's get that feedback now so we can start as we're starting to process 6th edition and how we're going to go about that. Let's get everybody's feedback on the Player's Handbook. I wouldn't be surprised if we see more surveys like this in the future, continuing to go through the Player's Handbook. Let's talk about the different classes. Let's talk about the skills, the weapons, the spells, and then we move into Xanathar's Guide and we ask the same questions. And then we move into Tasha's Cauldron. And as we go along, we keep getting surveys about bits of each one of these things to get our feedback on what we like, what we didn't like, so that they can better make the next edition organized with, incorporating our feedback into it. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And I will see you all next time.